Welcome, Wrestling Warriors. You're tuned into Wrestle Watch Central, your daily dose of WWE. Hit that bell, and let's get started. Nobody could have predicted what happened on SmackDown last night. The air was electric from the very start, the kind of energy that tells you something special is about to unfold. Brock Lesnar was in the ring, larger than life as always, his trademark smirk sending ripples through the crowd. He was doing what Brock does best, reminding everyone that no matter how many years pass, he's still the measuring stick in WWE. Paul Heyman stood beside him, microphone in hand, weaving his signature mix of arrogance and brilliance. For years, these two have been the heartbeat of dominance. But then, in an instant, that entire aura was shattered. The lights went out. Not a flicker, not a tease, complete darkness. And when the lights came back on, everything, absolutely everything was different. Standing on the stage, framed in shadows and intensity, was Jacob Fatu. The roar of the crowd turned into a stunned silence. It wasn't just a return, it was an arrival. A storm named Jacob Fatu. The Jacob Fatu who appeared on SmackDown wasn't the same man fans remembered. Gone was the wrestler who disappeared months ago under mysterious circumstances. In his place stood a force of nature, leaner, faster, more dangerous, and visibly more confident. His eyes burned with intent. There was no hesitation, no trace of uncertainty. Fatu didn't stroll to the ring or taunt from the stage. He sprinted like a man possessed, a storm in motion. Within seconds, he was in the ring, face to face with one of the most feared athletes in the history of professional wrestling. And before the audience could even register what was happening, Fatu struck. A thunderous superkick caught Brock squarely, echoing through the arena like a cannon blast. Lesnar staggered, visibly stunned, and that single moment told the story better than any promo ever could. Brock Lesnar, the conqueror of streaks and slayer of legends, was on his heels. It wasn't just an attack, it was a message, loud and unmistakable. The unthinkable beatdown. What unfolded next was chaos, raw, brutal, and unforgettable. Security rushed to the ring, but Fatu tore through them with frightening precision. Every strike looked heavier than the last, every motion fueled by months of pent-up emotion. Brock tried to respond, reaching for that familiar gear that has carried him through countless wars. He went for the F5, that signature move that has ended careers and defined eras. But Fatu countered it effortlessly, spinning out and planting Lesnar with a devastating Samoan drop that rattled the ring. The crowd, torn between awe and disbelief, watched as Fatu unleashed a storm of offense that left Lesnar reeling. Superkick after superkick connected with bone-rattling impact until finally, Brock lay motionless at the center of the ring. Not pinned, not submitted, simply unconscious. It was a sight fans had never witnessed before. The unbeatable had been beaten. The monster had been silenced. And with that, SmackDown became the scene of one of the most shocking moments in modern WWE history. The line between script and reality. In the aftermath, whispers spread like wildfire. Was this planned? Did Fatu go too far? Or was it a perfectly executed piece of storytelling designed to blur the line between fiction and reality? By all accounts, the segment was meant to be an intense return, a brawl to set up a feud, not a full-scale demolition. But somewhere in the heat of the moment, something changed. The energy, the timing, the emotion, it all felt too real. Maybe that was the point. Maybe WWE wanted fans to question everything, because that's what makes wrestling magical when it's done right. That razor-thin line where storytelling meets raw emotion. What was clear, however, was that this wasn't just a typical segment. Fatu didn't just make a return. He made a statement that echoed through every corner of the company. And even Brock Lesnar, a man known for being in absolute control of every encounter, seemed caught off guard by the intensity that unfolded before him. The fallout for WWE's power structure. The implications of that 5-minute rampage are enormous. For 2 decades, WWE has built Brock Lesnar's legacy around invincibility. He's been the unstoppable beast, the man who made destruction look effortless. He ended The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. He dominated John Cena in one of the most lopsided main events ever. He became the benchmark for legitimacy in a world built on spectacle. And now, that aura has been cracked by Jacob Fatu, a returning competitor with a name rooted deep in wrestling royalty. This changes everything about how WWE books its top stars. Suddenly, every competitor looks at Brock's downfall and realizes that no one is untouchable. That's a powerful narrative shift. For Fatu, it's a rocket strapped to his back. For WWE, it's both opportunity and risk. If they can harness this moment properly, it could rejuvenate the main event scene and create a fresh, believable monster heel. But if they mishandle it, if they rush the story or fail to maintain Fatu's momentum, the shock value will fade. And with it, one of the boldest booking moves in years. A new bloodline on the horizon. Of course, you can't talk about Jacob Fatu without talking about his family, the legendary Anoa'i dynasty. The Bloodline storyline has dominated WWE for years, centered around Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and the question of who truly holds power within the family. But Fatu's return changes the entire equation. He doesn't fit neatly into either faction. He's not Roman's loyal enforcer, nor is he an outsider looking in. He's a wild card, an unpredictable element whose allegiance seems to belong only to himself. The message he sent by targeting Brock Lesnar was clear. He's not here to stand behind anyone. He's here to take what he believes he's owed. That kind of energy, that raw hunger, is exactly what WWE's storytelling has been missing. And if the company is smart, they'll lean into it. They'll let Fatu exist as a force that challenges not only Brock Lesnar, but also Roman Reigns' claim as the tribal chief. Because deep down, everyone watching knows that a family war of that scale would be explosive. What comes next for Brock Lesnar in WWE? As the dust settles, one question looms larger than all the others. What happens now? For Brock Lesnar, this could be the beginning of the end, or the start of a powerful redemption arc. He's done it all in WWE: world titles, headline matches, unforgettable rivalries. But the image of him lying unconscious in the middle of the ring might be the spark that reignites his fire. Imagine a storyline where Brock disappears for months, only to return hungrier than ever, seeking revenge not for a title, but for his pride. That's compelling television. As for Fatu, the challenge ahead is enormous. Dominance is one thing, sustainability is another. He'll need to prove that he can cut meaningful promos, carry emotional storylines, and connect with fans on more than just physicality. If he can do that, WWE may have found its next true megastar. If not, this moment risks becoming a spectacular but fleeting shock. Either way, one thing is undeniable. WWE feels alive again. Unpredictable, dangerous, and that's exactly what keeps fans coming back week after week.